Before the world was tamed by faith and order, before men built temples and whispered prayers for mercy, the gods ruled with terror. They were not the benevolent beings of hymns, or the watchful guardians of the heavens. They were forces of nature unfathomable in power, their past woven with blood, betrayal, and destruction. These were not the gods who granted wisdom or kindness. They were the ones who reshaped existence itself, whose wrath could shatter empires, and whose mere presence could drive mortals to madness. Their names were spoken in hushed tones, their stories buried beneath centuries of forgotten fear. Their stories are not just myths. They are warnings. And in the echoes of history, in the whispers of the wind and the shifting of the stars, their presence lingers still. 1. Hades, the forsaken king of the underworld. Before the earth had formed, before the mountains rose and the rivers carved their way through the land, there was a time of darkness. It was in this abyss that Hades was born, his fate sealed before he could even cry his first breath. His father, Cronus, the Titan king, feared a prophecy that his children would rise against him. One by one, Cronus devoured them, swallowing them whole, so they would never see the light of day. Inside their father's stomach, the gods lingered in suffocating silence, their souls trapped in a prison of living flesh. Hades, the second-born, knew nothing of warmth or freedom, only the endless darkness and the silent presence of his siblings. Years passed, centuries perhaps. Time did not exist in the belly of Cronus. But then, a miracle. Zeus, the last son, was hidden away and raised in secret. When he came of age, he waged war against his father, forcing Cronus to regurgitate his long-imprisoned children. Hades gasped his first breath of true air, stepping into a world he did not recognize. The war against the Titans was fierce, and Hades fought alongside his brothers, wielding a helm of invisibility forged in the depths of Tartarus. When the Titans fell, the world was divided. Zeus claimed the heavens, Poseidon took the sea, and Hades was given the underworld. It was not a gift. It was an exile. The underworld was a vast, desolate place, filled with the endless wailing of the dead. Hades ruled in silence, his presence a shadow upon the souls who wandered the dark riverbanks. He did not seek power, nor did he hunger for conquest. He simply remained, bound to a throne of stone, his only companions a ghost who whispered secrets in the dark. His name became a curse, spoken in hushed tones. Mortals feared him, for he was a god they would all one day meet. But Hades did not seek their worship. He was not like the other gods. He was neither cruel nor kind. He simply was. And so he waited in the halls of the dead, a king in a kingdom where no one truly lived. 2. Shiva, the destroyer and the eternal witness of doom. Before the beginning, before even the gods took shape, Shiva sat in stillness. He was not created. He simply existed, a force beyond time, beyond space. He watched as the universe unfolded, as stars ignited and worlds formed, as gods rose and fell like waves against the shore. He did not interfere. He meditated in the void, unmoved by the passage of time. Yet the world called to him, drawing him into the chaos of existence. It was love that changed him. Sati, the daughter of a great king, saw the god in meditation and loved him for his indifference to power. She chose him, forsaking her father's kingdom. But mortals do not understand the ways of the divine. Her father despised Shiva, mocking him for his ascetic ways, his lack of wealth, his refusal to bow before kings. At a grand sacrifice, meant to honor the gods, Sati's father refused to acknowledge Shiva. Enraged by the insult, she cast herself into the sacred fire, choosing death over dishonor. Shiva did not weep. He did not scream. He simply lifted her lifeless body into his arms and walked. Through mountains and rivers, through the halls of gods and men, he carried her, his silence heavier than thunder. But grief does not sit quietly within the heart of a god. From his sorrow came destruction. The sky darkened, the earth cracked, and the cosmos trembled as his third eye opened, unleashing a fire that devoured everything in its path. The gods cowered, for they had seen anger before, but never like this, never from Shiva. It was only when Vishnu, the preserver, intervened, severing Sati's body piece by piece, that Shiva's madness began to subside. Her remains scattered across the land, becoming sacred sites. But Shiva was never the same. His dance, the Tandava, became the rhythm of destruction, marking the end of ages. He would destroy the world not out of hatred, but because all things must end, for creation cannot exist without destruction, and Shiva was destruction incarnate. 3. Anubis, the guardian of the dead and the keeper of souls. He was born in the shadows of betrayal. His mother, Nephthys, bore him in secrecy, fearing her husband's wrath. She abandoned him in the desert, his infant cries swallowed by the endless sands. But the desert does not forget. The jackals found him, their golden eyes reflecting the fire of the gods. They raised him, teaching him the ways of the night, the whispers of the dead. When he came of age, he walked into halls of the gods, a child of no kingdom, yet with the presence of something far greater. It was Osiris who took him in, raising him as his own. But fate was unkind, and when Set, the god of storms and chaos, murdered Osiris, it was Anubis who found his broken body. With careful hands, he prepared the first mummification, preserving the god for the journey beyond. Thus, Anubis became the keeper of the dead, his blackened form standing watch over the souls as they walked the path of judgment. His scales weighed their hearts, and with a single glance, he decided their fate. He was neither cruel nor kind. He simply did what must be done. The living feared him, but the dead knew better. For Anubis was their last guide, the only god who would walk beside them when all else had turned away. For Kali, the goddess of blood and time's wrath, before the world knew balance, before mortals understood the cost of existence, there was chaos. And from that chaos, she emerged. Kali was not born as other deities were. She did not rise from the heavens in golden radiance, nor did she descend with the gentle hand of a mother. She erupted into existence in the heart of battle, born from rage, born from necessity. The demon Raktabija was unlike any foe the gods had faced. Each time his blood touched the earth, a new form of him would rise, an endless army born from his own wounds. The gods, mighty as they were, could do nothing. Each strike only made him stronger. The battlefield became a graveyard, the air thick with the scent of death. Then, from the fury of Durga, from the cries of dying warriors, Kali emerged. She was dark as the void, her hair a wild storm, her eyes glowing with the light of destruction. She did not wield a weapon, nor did she call for allies. She needed none. With a scream that split the heavens, she tore through the battlefield, devouring the demon's flesh before his blood could meet the earth. She ripped limb from limb, crushing bones, swallowing his essence until nothing remained but silence. But her hunger was not satisfied. Kali danced upon the bodies of the fallen, her frenzy unrelenting. She trampled the land, her feet drumming against the corpses of gods and demons alike. The world trembled, for she had become a force even beyond divine control. The gods pleaded for her to stop, but Kali did not listen. It was only when Shiva, the great destroyer, laid himself before her feet that she paused. Her foot met his chest, and in that moment, recognition dawned in her frenzied mind. She saw what she had become, a force so uncontrollable that even creation itself quivered at her presence. Her tongue, stained with the blood of 1,000 demons, fell from her lips in realization. She had nearly destroyed the world she was meant to protect. She stepped back, retreating into the darkness from which she came. But she was never truly gone. For when chaos rises, when the world teeters on the edge of destruction, the gods know that Kali waits in shadows, ready to awaken once more. 5. Tiamat, the betrayed mother of monsters. Before the gods of men, before the world had order, there was only the abyss. And in that abyss, there was Tiamat. She was a mother of all things, the endless ocean from which life itself was born. She was a beginning, the great cosmic mother who cradled the first gods within her depths. But creation is never without conflict. Her children, born from the waters of chaos, turned against her. They did not understand the forces that birthed them. They did not revere the darkness from which they came. They saw only the desire for power, for dominion over creation. Marduk, the most ambitious among them, rose against her. He waged war upon his own mother, calling upon the heavens to aid him. But Tiamat did not cower. She called forth her own children, her monstrous offspring, serpents with eyes of fire, dragons that darkened the sky, creatures that defied the very nature of the gods. The battle shook the foundations of the cosmos. Tiamat roared, her form stretching across the heavens, her fury forming storms that could drown entire worlds. But treachery ran deep among her children. Marduk struck her down, driving his blade through her massive form. Her cries echoed through eternity as her body was torn apart. From her corpse, Marduk shaped the sky and the earth. Her ribs became the vault of the heavens, her blood the rivers that carved through the land. Her essence, once boundless and infinite, was reduced to mere fragments of existence. But Tiamat was never truly defeated. She lingers in the deep, her presence felt in the raging seas and the howling tempests that remind the world of the chaos it was built upon. Those who dare to listen can still hear her whispers in the crashing of waves, a warning that she is never truly gone. And should the order of the gods ever falter, should their arrogance once again bring ruin upon the world, Tiamat will rise. For the mother of monsters does not forgive. The world may have moved on, but the past does not sleep. The gods who once ruled with terror are not gone. They are merely waiting, in the depths of the underworld, in the silence of ancient ruins, in the whispers of the wind that carry forgotten names. They endure. The end